Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to Prepping 101. So last week I talked about and showed you like an Altoid tin survival kit that was commercially available, sealed up in like a sardine can. And what I am doing is I'm embarking on a project, and then I guess in another video I showed you the Mora knife that I bought that had a fire steel built in. And so I wanted to add a fire steel to every one of my knives. And I'm doing it in various different ways depending on the size and type of scabbard that the knife has. But one thing I realized is that, you know, if you're going to go to the trouble of doing that, you might as well put some survival gear on the scabbard as well. So I thought I would come up, and I kind of came up with this solution of a cigar tube for a survival kit, and to lay that alongside on the scabbard. And when I'm done with the whole project, and it's all wrapped in paracord, I'll show you what it looks like. But so this is the, I guess, episode 1 of this hack for putting survival gear in small places. But this is a cigar tube, one of the smaller ones, so it's not so huge on the knife scabbard. But I had to sacrifice the lid for length. I want it to be the right length to lay on the scabbard, so I cut the lid off. But I have a neat solution for that as well, and we'll just see if all the stuff I want to put in here will fit. So the first thing I wanted was some kind of fire steel. And so I found this little tiny fire steel. This is a ferro rod here, and then this is a magnesium bar. So you can scrape this silver part off, and it comes with a scraper. It came with a leather lanyard, but I took that off because I'm going to be putting it inside of this tiny tube. But it also comes with a scraper here, and you can see that you can use this to scrape off a pile of magnesium. I'm not going to do it, and then I will throw some sparks your way. Not at the phone this time, but then you can see it's also a pretty good spark maker. Wow, better watch that. That's a box of matches over there. I almost set a fire on accident. Alright, so we got this tiny little ferro rod, and you can see it'll fit right in there with room to spare, along with its striker as well. It'll go in there. So what else can I put in here that I might need? Once I've got the knife and the fire going, the next thing I'm thinking about, I can't really put water purification in here. I could put some tablets in here, which I don't have, and I might add someday, but this is kind of a, I don't know, a secondary project. You could put some tablets for purifying water in here, because there's no way of purifying water. But I'm hoping that in this situation I have a little bit more than just my knife, but if I had just my knife, I could figure it out. So anyway, I might add later on a couple of water purification tablets at least. But there's very little real estate in here, and it's got to go on a knife. So I want to, you know, make use of the wisely of the space I have, making those decisions on what to add and what not. And I don't even know if any of this will fit in here. I just got a pile of stuff I'd like for it to fit in here. So we'll see if I can make it fit. I also have, I made an interesting choice here. If you decide, if this sounds like a bad idea to you, let me know, because I don't want to risk my life on this if it's a bad idea. I can't think of why it's a bad idea. But I got some heavier gauge fluorocarbon leader to put in here instead of standard monofilament line or something like a spider wire. The fish in Oregon are spooky. If they see it and it's got a line attached to it, they can see that line. And regular monofilament, I mean, sometimes it doesn't pass the sniff test. So this fluorocarbon really comes across like a much smaller diameter line. Because it's made out of fluorocarbon, it's somewhat invisible to the fish. So this is actually a steelhead leader. It's a 17-pound, maybe even like a salmon leader. But 17 pounds for steelhead, that's pretty strong. But this is a strong leader that I want to use as a main line, and so I bought some, and I stretched it, you know, measured it out, and I got about 35 feet here that I've just coiled over, and I've used a little bit of musician's trick there, a little bit of gaff tape. It's kind of like duct tape, but made out of cloth, to bind it all up. So I've got my line there, and then obviously I want to fill up the extra space as much as I can with this cotton ball. I was going to dip this in Vaseline, but I'm thinking I don't want that all over my fishing gear. And so I'm thinking that I probably will just use plain cotton. As long as it stays dry, we ought to be good to go. And plus, I also have this magnesium in case all else fails. So cotton ball, take up some of the extra space. And I thought the rest of this real estate would be good for fishing gear. I'm a fishing guy, and I know if I have some hooks and some line, I can do some stuff with it. So I got me this little, like 32 32nd of an ounce jig in red and black. And then I have this little squiggly tail Mr. Twister with white with a little pink tinge on the end that I can put in there for a little grub action and some twisty in the water. And then I've also got some hooks. I've only got 3 hooks here, 3 hooks and a jig. That ought to get me through it. 3 hooks and a jig, and 3 little weights to go in there with it. And I included a snap swivel, you know, for connecting my leader to a much longer line. If I want to run a longer line, I can hook this up and then leave it on a set line, and the fish can swim around and spin and everything, and not tangle my line up so bad. So I added a pretty heavy-duty snap swivel in there just in case I want to hook a main line from the paracord, which will be wrapped around the knife blade. But this is the stuff that's going all in this little tube. Let's get to it and see if we can make it fit. Alright, so I've been thinking about this, and I'm thinking the best bet is to put the little stuff in first so it goes all the way to the bottom. So going with the snap swivel, going here with our little hooks and big hooks and in-between hooks. We got 3 choices there. So that goes in. That's everything from that part of it. And then, let's see, it's put in the jig. And then we'll drop in the Mr. Twister tail. Go down in there, you. And then I think I'll put in the line and push it down in there. Now, let's see if I can get this. We may be filled up already. See if I can get this ferro rod in there. It's kind of important. And in goes the ferro rod. Come on. Yep, there it goes. And now with the, oh yeah, look at that. There it goes, right in there. Everything's going right down in there, no problem. Gotta push it down a little bit. Now, I've got this cotton. Break some cotton up, stuff it down in the hole. And looks like that's all that's gonna fit is that little bit of cotton. But I got the magnesium, so that's good. Now I'm just gonna try to push that down in there some. I think it's in. Now, that makes a problem here, since I was going to use this cool piece of candle tip I got to act as a plug and going to heat it up to seal it. But with the cotton, I can't do it. So I've got to decide, do I want the cotton or do I want the little cap? And I'm thinking I dig the little cap most of all. So I'm going to take my knife out, because this is a little big, because this is a little more space, a little less space in there than I thought. So let's make this a little smaller. I can do this without cutting off my finger. Ow! That was my finger. Didn't cut it, just touched it. Just enough. The ow was actually psychosomatic. You ever do that? You're like, ow, that hurts, but not really. And we're almost there. Bear with me. This is like the most boring part. I could tell a story while I'm doing it. Once upon a time, there was a guy making a video, and his plug was too big, and he had to trim it down. So this is a candle, if you can't tell. Obviously, I think I might have left that out. This is a little piece of just a wax candle. And so you can use this as a fire starter or for some light. And it's also going to serve as a lid, since by cutting this down, I had to sacrifice the snap-on lid I had going on before. So we'll see if this works. We'll just drop that in there. That's going in fine. Maybe I can get, since I trimmed the candle back, maybe I can compromise and get a little bit of the cotton in there too. How about a little piece? Yeah, that's going to work. And you can see that it's just the same size, and every time I push in, well, it just shreds a little more wax off, like that. Now, wax seals is how they used to seal stuff back in the day, before they had all the modern plastics and O-rings and gaskets and all that. So let's heat this up. Brought a lighter. This is kind of a cool lighter. It's refillable. I found it at a gas station, and it has a flashlight. And this flashlight works, and I keep refilling it, and it keeps working. And yeah, kind of digging that this has got a light built into the lighter. But let's heat this up a little bit, and then we're gonna put it back in there and seal this little dude up, and then the next thing you know, you'll be able to see the finished product in my next video. Let me just kind of warm this up. I can do this without getting burned. You play with fire, you're gonna get burned. I just want to soften the wax, so when I push on it, it pushes into the wax and it seals up a little bit. Now it's dripping. Come on. All right, yeah. Oh, perfect. Then I'm just gonna kind of push that soft wax down around the edge like that. And there you have it. Almost rattle-proof. I'm pretty happy with that, actually. I didn't know if any of it fit. It fit in there. And, yeah. Now that this dries, that's a nice lid. It's not coming out. And it also serves as a candle. And I could light this without even opening it. Wouldn't that be cool? I have a little candle vial there. Anyway, so yeah, that's a cigar tube pocket survival kit. You can make one for yourself. I got weird hobbies. I get it. All right, we'll see you next time on Prepping 101.